We have Gary Holt, Paul Bostaph. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Pleasure.
Welcome to Columbus,
Thanks.
Ohio again.
Thank you.
Neither one of you are strangers. I know we did a one-on-one with you last time, so thanks for joining us, Gary. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Well, you're touring on Repentless, brand new Slayer record. I know it's been out for a little bit, but can you talk a little bit about how the tour's been going so far? I know you're out with Carcass and Testament.
It's been awesome. I mean, most of the shows have been sold out, and if it hasn't been sold out, I couldn't tell if it was or wasn't. It looked damn sold out to me. And two other legendary bands, Testament boys from the Bay Area, longtime friends, and Carcass, other longtime friends of mine, specifically, I don't know if Paul knows them or not, but fucking legends, fucking the British Bane, they're just awesome. It's been great.
It's a great package.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What's your experience been like?
It's been the same. Great. I mean, the shows are awesome, and like Gary said, I'd just be being redundant, so I agree with Gary. It's just a lot of fun.
Well, you mentioned ties to Testament. It's got to be like just touring with old friends of those guys.
Yeah, it's like
You were in Testament.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of metal incest going on.
Yeah.
Paul plays in Slayer, had played in Slayer, played in Testament, played in Exodus. I played in Exodus, I played in Slayer. I've toured with Testament with Exodus. Now I'm touring with them with Slayer. It's just this big fucking vortex of metal that just kind of intertwines in a good way. You know what I mean?
We did a phoner with Chuck Billy leading up to the tour and asked him what Testament song he'd want to hear Slayer do, and he went with Practice What You Preach. He wanted to hear Tom attempt that. And we were curious, what Slayer song do you think they might be able to tackle?
Testament?
Testament.
I don't know. They got the skill to do just about any of them. Which one would I like to see? I don't know. I'd have to give that some thought because I'd have to sit down and really think of what would I want to hear Chuck sing, with that huge voice of his. What would be his take on it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got me stumped. I'm now thinking about a million songs.
Angel of Death, because where Tom does the scream, Chuck can do a it'd be fucking pretty badass.
Dude.
I'd like to see him do Gemini.
I'd like to see me do Gemini.
Me too.
That's not on my roster yet.
Gary, we asked Paul this the last time you guys were in Columbus. What's your favorite Slayer album that you didn't play on?
I'm a huge Haunting the Chapel guy, and Hell Awaits. Everybody says Rain and Blood, but as far as the early stuff goes, those are my favorite ones. And I love God Hates Us All tons and tons.
Very nice.
And I think Divine has some great stuff on it. We need to be playing some of
Just
that
keep
stuff.
going. You've got it. Pretty much all of them.
We should be doing Diddlehead.
Yeah,
I've done it. You played on the record. I haven't played it with you yet.
let's do it.
It makes no sense at all.
Set list change right here. All right, well, Paul, you and Gary, you work together in Exodus. Like you mentioned, there's a little bit of incest going on here.
Oh yeah.
Is it weird? Did you ever think that you would be playing together again, let alone in another band like in Slayer?
Well, I never thought we'd play together with Slayer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
odd set of circumstances and unfortunate set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, you never say never. I mean, even with I had a great time in Exodus. And heavier than fuck band. So I never you just never say never. If you're lucky enough to get a phone call from somebody who you respect and their songwriting and their music, period. It's,
Yeah. And
it's
then
awesome.
here we are.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. How that worked out,
Yeah, I know. God works in mysterious ways. That's for sure. Or the devil, I guess.
Yeah,
In Slayer's case, yeah. Satan. What's it like playing these new Repentless tunes for fans live? I mean, what's the response been like?
I mean, I think the response has been really good. I mean, my take on it's different because I'm sitting behind the drum set. But I know when we play Repentless, I know people are singing the chorus, which is really super cool. Like the last show, I think, in Boston, I'm in the back, like I said, I'm sitting behind drums and I've got in-ears in, so I can't really hear the audience. I think the second chorus of the song, Tom didn't sing, and I could hear the audience singing. Like it was loud enough so I got my attention, and that's pretty loud because we're loud, So I don't know about the other songs.
Yeah, I mean the other songs are getting there as well. We played Repentless, longer, as well as Stillness we've been playing, and like with any band with a new album, it all comes down to familiarity with the music, and the album's been out long enough now that they recognize the song when we kick into it, whereas like. If you're playing something new right before the album comes out, they kind of have to stop and pay attention a little rather than just jump in. And so from a stage standpoint, sometimes it appears as if they're not digging it, but they're listening,
Yeah.
And now they're beating each other up. So I think they know the songs well enough now.
Are there tracks on that new record that mean a lot to either of you personally? Like maybe really like your part in it, or
I'm glad we're playing You Against You. That's I like the stuff I did on that song. And it's a fun song to play. Super thrash. I like fast thrash stuff.
I'd say Piano Wire.
Yeah.
Just because it was, Jeff's, only contribution to the record. But it was, it was great to be playing another one of his songs. Just in that session.
Yeah, it was the final one.
Yeah, but it was when I was playing it, it was kind of like Jeff was in the room. So.
Very cool. Very cool. You mentioned the volume up there on stage, and AC/DC just had to cancel some dates because of Brian's ear situation.
I heard about that.
Is that a concern for you guys at all?
What?
Or,
Yeah, it concerns me. I have a hearing aid. It's my wife. Has to repeat everything she says to me usually. But it's the higher frequencies I've lost. So like a man with a deep bass-filled voice such as your own, I hear you just fine. It concerns me, especially after reading about that. Concerns me almost as much as they're going to do shows with a fill-in singer possibly. No,
they want to do that.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, that might be the idea, but I can't see that flying.
No,
who are they going to
get? Who are you going to get?
Right.
I think they got their one chance at the fill-in thing. Knock that out of the park.
Let them recover,
Yeah, absolutely. I
mean,
hear it was cars. It wasn't even.
Ears,
it was his race cars, I guess. Not even the music. You'd think it was doing
well,
what
I'm
he
sure
does.
Decades of like AC/DC level stage fog has a lot to do with that too.
Absolutely. Gary, I saw you have this signature guitar painted in your own blood. How much blood was required for that?
18 vials.
Wow.
You kidding me?
It's like a half a pint. It sounds like
It
sounds like someone opened a vein, north to south, not east to west, and just spilled it out into a bucket. I mean, it's just like going for any blood test. They stab you with a spike and they connect a little tube. They twist it and it fills, but you just do it 17 more times.
Now, was this your idea? I know you consented to it, but whose idea was it to use your blood?
Well, I was brought.
I know Vincent does
Vincent
that.
and I were brought together by Brian Werner, the singer from Vital Remains, who introduced us, and and I was already a fan of Vincent's work. It's one of the foremost leaders in all things dark in the world of art, and Vincent and I hit it off right away, and we were just super on the same page about this project. So like, dude, you should do a guitar, So ESP, I called him up and said I needed one in white, give him a canvas. And it was a learning experience for him because even on a white primer finish, it won't absorb. And so as he because there's so many layers to achieve all that dimension, and he'd go for the second layer and it would just push the previous layer around, So we had to coat it again with this art substance called gesso, which they use it for treating canvas, and it gave him something to like hold the blood. And I was concerned, is it going to look textured when it was done? But despite that being put over the paint, and once the clear was on, you can't tell that there was ever any other like surface put under it. It's pretty remarkable.
It is. It really is. Paul, we mentioned some of your history. Drum for pretty much everyone in thrash. Forbidden, Exodus, Testament, now Slayer. What's the difference in playing in Slayer versus your previous gigs?
Well, I mean, the songs are different. It's still thrash metal, but every band has its own style. I mean, Forbidden doesn't have the same style as Exodus. Exodus has their own style from Testament, and so on and so forth. There are constants to it. Things as a drummer that you want to bring that they're inherent of that style. A thrash beat. Backwards thrash with double bass. Things like that. That's the obvious answer to that is they're all different. And you're looking for the details, but each band's different. Their sound's different, personality.
What about like from a business perspective? I mean, what sets Slayer apart from previous? I know in terms of maybe the organization or business side of things.
It's Slayer.
It's a well-run machine.
Tight-run ship.
Yeah.
Gary, my wife watches the cooking channels, and I saw you on Top Chef Duel randomly with Scotty and Zombie.
Yeah.
How in the hell did that come together? What are the circumstances?
Our former publicist, Maria Ferrero, set that up, and I don't know how she did it. But she asked if I wanted to go on Top Chef. She knows I watch cooking shows all the time. And I said, okay. And I was kind of nervous, because there's a lot of food I'll eat and a lot of shit I won't. Basic stuff. I won't eat broccoli, but I'll fuck up a tray of snails, And I've eaten crickets and bugs, but I won't eat a Brussels sprout. And I was really concerned, are they going to feed me like food that I absolutely won't eat, or I'm going to have to pretend I like it and gag on some cauliflower? All these normal vegetables that are part of everybody's day-to-day life that I hate. But I actually filled out a little questionnaire kind of thing, and they're not gonna feed me like
right.
foie gras,
right.
or liver and onions or something like that. Knowing that it's on your list of things you won't eat. But it was super fun. It was good. And it was a vegan challenge because Rob's a vegan, and the food was delicious. It was exceptional.
Excellent. It was just refreshing to see your face.
They did a slight edit
all
too.
All three of you guys.
Because on the episode when they just show us all doing a toast. What happened was one of the chefs, her dessert was supposed to have like a flaming Zambuca on it, but it wasn't setting on fire. But she started walking away, and I insisted. I said, "Wait, don't go away yet. Bring that back." And I made her fill it up, and I made everybody do that. They just edited it down to it. I turned her around and brought that back.
That's good. Glad we got the backstory on that. Paul, you're out on tour right now with another drumming legend, Gene Hoglan, the Atomic Clock.
Yeah.
What do you guys talk shop when you run into each other? Is that the last thing you want to talk about?
No, sometimes we do.
Yeah.
I mean, over the course of my career, I've played shows with Gene and talked to Gene. Gene's a super nice guy. And he's a very, very, easy guy to talk to as well. And yeah, he's given me some of the best advice in my career because he's so good. He's always been good. Like people, or maybe he's just getting his dues recently, but that guy's been there the whole time.
In the 80s.
Yeah, first show I played with him was Forbidden at Dark Angel in Fenders in Long Beach in Southern California. And that's the first time I saw him play, and my jaw was just on the ground. And after the show, I talked to him, and he was super nice. Like back then, some guys in bands were total dicks, but not Gene. Gene was one of those guys I'll always remember, super cool. And I said, dude, how do you do? He was very. I'd ask him like, how do you do your feet so fast? All these things, and he was very, very forthwith with any secret that he had. He's like, just do this, this, and this, and that helped me out immensely in my career. So yeah, whenever I see him. I'll say, yeah, he'll watch me play, I'll watch him play. He'll say, yeah, you played a good show last night. Yeah, I'm having a little problem with this. And he'll just say, yeah, have you ever tried that? And I'll think about it. And if it works, it's great. It works.
The last time I saw him, it was here, and he was doing double duty with Testament and Anthrax because Charlie's mother passed away.
Yeah, that's right.
So, just that alone.
He's a killer guitar player, too. I sit and talk shop with Gene. He's always like, want to get up and play some stuff off Bonded by Blood. He's totally knows how to play half that record, probably.
So it's a crazy election year. What are your thoughts on the current field of presidential candidates? Do you follow that at all?
Yes, I do. I follow it quite well. And Donald Trump he's a hazard. He's a hazard to this nation we live in, and like something we've never seen before. And there's certain things he says I agree with, and is everything out of his mouth bullshit just to get elected and appeal to like the fringe elements? Of course it is. The guy's more liberal than anybody he's running against at heart. But did you see him just the other day at one of his rallies where he asked all the supporters to raise their right hands and take an oath? It was very Nuremberg rally, wasn't it? It was very Nazi Germany when you're seeing a few thousand people with their right arms in the air reciting a pledge to Donald Trump. Okay, that's how it started in Nazi Germany. And he allows violence against any dissent to go on unfettered at his gatherings. Right. Look at how long it took him to deny David Duke. He pretended he didn't know who he was at first. David Duke, I don't know. I play guitar for Exodus and Slayer, and I spent a good part of my life, consuming drugs and alcohol, and I know who the former fucking Grand Dragon of the KKK is, all right? I'm sure you do too, Donald Trump. But he didn't want to alienate that voting bloc.
He wants those votes.
Yeah, if you come out and say, no, he's a disgrace and all that, it's going to piss off the fucking white supremacists, who are really behind him. So, it's scary. But then on the other side, what do we got? We got Hillary, who I don't trust at all. And, Bernie Sanders, I think, could do a great job. But, it's like, it's not there's nobody there that I really, really feel supportive of.
Well, I mean, I could tell you one thing in terms of Trump. It was funny. So I was reading an article, and it had to do with Trump. His comment. Somebody asked him a question. It was his comment about hunting down the terrorist families. Okay. Now I was watching CNN, and they were interviewing a general, and he was asking this general about that comment and how he felt about that. A retired general, I think it was. But anyway, he said that the Army or armed forces, they're sworn to an oath, and something like that is against what they swear to uphold. It's not in their ethics to do that. So basically, if the President of the United States says that to them, I want you to do this, hunt down their families, they're going to refuse that order. They can refuse that order, and they will. They won't do it. And it was posed to Trump, well, what if that whole scenario was brought to him after that comment, and he said, we'll see about that. Yeah. We'll see about that. Any man, the President of the United States, he's not the ultimate power in the world. It's supposed to be the government is the government of the people, for the people. That's what it's supposed to be. Trump has no regard for anything. Yeah. And I don't care all about anything he lies about, all his bullshit, but that right there, anybody who votes for him is a fool. You're a fool.
Sarah Palin just, I think today came out and with a little speech about Joe Sixpack, which I love it when she's talking about the American people. It always has a reference to drinking, right? Joe Sixpack, the guy who puts 6 beers away a day, the average American. Is that something to be fucking proud of, right? Nothing wrong with that, and she compared Trump as having been Joe Sixpack. Just Palin, do you know anything about Donald Trump's background at all? He was born extremely wealthy. He never had to graduate from a 6-pack to a 12-pack. Yeah. He was born with a keg next to his fucking back. Yeah. And Trump, his business ventures, he's lost people millions and millions and millions of dollars and still profited off all of his bankruptcies and everything. That's why rich people get richer. They know how to game the system. They know how to make money even when everybody else loses that's invested in it. But he's appealing. Do I think if he got elected president, he'd change everything he said? Yeah, I think so. But do we want a president who's just willing to lie his way into it? All politicians lie, but that would set a whole new level of lying.
Onto a little lighter subject here. Just curious, do Carrie or Tom have any unusual or weird habits while touring? Is there any tics or weird things that you
Tom
do?
punches walls to get ready to go on.
Really?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's just a karate thing.
It's like a horrible idea.
We usually have 2 dressing rooms. It's not like we segregate ourselves, You know, Carrie and I usually sit in one and play video games. Paul warms up, and Carrie and Tom's. Like the last show, I was hollering, "Hey, cut that out!" Fucking with them because all I hear was
Yeah, exactly.
on the wall. I'm like, "Stop that shit! Don't make me come over there." I'll karate kick you.
Have you noticed anything?
Yeah, exactly what he said.
The wall punching?
Yeah.
Usually it's just warm up, get
Yeah.
ready, and then stretch out a little bit.
I didn't know if one of them belches really loud or.
We all belch really loud.
Yeah, a lot of pull my finger.
All right. I got a rapid fire round here, just real quick questions. What was the first instrument that either of you bought that you were really excited about, or excited to own?
A guitar.
Drums.
Do you remember the specifics though? I mean,
It was a Montgomery Ward's guitar.
Mine was a drum set. It wasn't even a drum set. It was stacked up in some guy's closet, and it was an old Stewart drum set. It was made of plywood and had some plastic wrap on it, and got me into my first band. But it was a piece of crap.
what is your go-to tour road food? Like, what can't you live without on the road?
Mexican. I can't live without Mexican food.
It's kind of risky.
What's that?
It's kind of risky.
I've tried it in Europe. But look, there's Mexican food. I'll attempt it, and every once in a while I'm surprised. I'm like, wow, that was edible.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the 80s when it wasn't so prevalent in Europe. I walked 4 or 5 miles to a Mexican restaurant in Scandinavia, and it was about on the level of Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Almost that good, but it was worth every step I took. Like literally, we walked forever.
Hamburger.
Hamburger.
Yeah. I don't eat them at home.
Really?
Yeah. I don't eat them at home, but sometimes I look at the menu. I'm in a hotel. Sometimes we get there so late, there's no other option, so I got to eat room service. So it's always a hamburger.
Growing up, did you have a favorite concert T-shirt that you were really proud of?
No, but I had my Boston belt buckle. I wish I still had.
That's cool.
One of those old enamel ones.
Yeah.
I wish I had that thing. I'd still wear it today.
Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. I love that T-shirt.
What was the last movie that you saw that you really enjoyed?
That I really enjoyed. You go, Paul. I'm trying to think. What was the last movie I enjoyed?
I'm trying to think of the name of the movie. I just saw it in the movie theater too. Damn it. Well, the last movie we saw was on the
Brain
bus.
fart.
It was that Keanu Reeves movie. What was it called?
John Wick.
John Wick. That was the last one I saw, but not in the movie theater.
Last one in the theater. I'm trying to remember.
It was.
I'm drawing total blank.
Who was in
It was the Coen brothers.
Oh, Hail Caesar?
Hail Caesar?
Hail Caesar.
Was that good?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
love the Coen
entertaining.
brothers, and I've been wanting to see that.
Yeah.
It's on my list too.
Yeah, it's good.
Any new music that either of you are listening to that you really are excited about?
I just got the new Anthrax on my phone, so from what
good.
I heard when we were in Europe, Scotty was playing it for me. It's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I think album of the year is going to be between that and the new Death Angel, because Death Angel always make the album of the year. So I think that's going to be a fucking Thriller in Manila. That's going to be the rumble in the jungle there. It's going to be a fight.
New Anthrax.
Excellent. Glad that you're back in the thrash. Very nice. All right. Well, hey, that's pretty much all we got for you. Is there
Right
anything
on.
you'd like to say to Slayer fans that might be watching this?
Thanks for sticking around and supporting this band.
Cheers.